Carnival has been rolling out a change to its ships over the last probably year or so, where a lot of the ships, you actually receive your sail and sign card on the ship rather than at check-in. So the old process was, you do your online check-in, you show up at the port, and you complete sort of your check-in where they take your picture and they give you your card. And that's been changing where instead they get you to hold on to your printout of your check-in and you get the card when you're on the ship. And so they are in envelopes that are generally sealed and placed in either the mail slot or somehow just outside your cabin door. If there's no mail slot, it'll be kind of like, jammed into the room number placard thing, which is funny because we actually used to, before we got our magnet, we would put our Vacation Impossible business cards in there to help identify our room. So this is an interesting thing. So the idea is if your room's not ready yet, for example, you can use this check-in form of yours, this printout, to order drinks on your sail and sign card and things like that. Use that to sort of get onto the ship, and then you get your card later. And that's interesting because there is, I guess the natural concern would be that it's not as secure because these cards are just hanging out outside people's rooms. You could, in theory, go and grab any old person's card. However, they do tag your picture to it. So if you were to go and use that card to try and get off the ship or order something, your picture would come up, the staff would see it. So the only real risk there, I guess, is if you had the card, you'd have access to a cabin. But let's say that you took somebody else's card, tried to access their cabin, but they come on board, they see there's no card there, they go to guest services. Guest services would probably deactivate the existing card and reissue a new one. So I don't see there's actually much risk there. I think that it's probably fine, and I'm guessing it makes it faster because it feels like a faster process now that they've made this change. When I've experienced it, some ports I don't think it fully switched over yet, and so I think that's fine. And it's interesting because I've checked in at some ports where they didn't take my picture. And I think that the picture they basically ended up having on file, they somehow pulled from my passport, which is kind of impressive and slightly scary that they're able to interface with customs to do that. But I guess that makes sense because they have to work hand in glove with them on a security level. But then on this sailing, they did take my picture, but again, I didn't get my card until I was on the ship. So it's interesting. So basically, your check-in experience may vary from ship to ship, but I don't think there's any real concerns. Just try to stay adaptable and know that these options are out there, and you should be totally fine.